All right, baby. WSME SM Enlightenment Radio. Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is another fine edition of the Sunday Night Spotlight. And, every Sunday, I like to interview someone, a person of interest, someone that I think that the SM Enlightenment audience would want to know about, want to hear from. And this week, I got 2 for 1 for you. I got 2 for 1 in more ways than one, ladies and gentlemen, because instead of just interviewing one guest, I have 2. All right. And it's a powerful 2. And on top of that, I'm not only interviewing some business owners, some entrepreneurs, but also some brothers that provide a service that you definitely need to hear about. So right here on deck, I have Greg and Blaze Bowden of Sopro Solar Energy, Sopro Solar Professionals. What's going on, fellas?
What's up? What's up? Not too much, man. How you?
Hey, man, I'm blessed. And, welcome to the Sunday Night Spotlight. And, I want to welcome you to the world, the land, the realm of SM. And, the whole concept of this platform right here is to promote positivity. You know what I'm saying? And well-being and all of that good stuff. And, when we talk about well-being, we mean well-being not only for ourselves personally, but the well-being of our communities, you know what I'm saying? And ultimately, maybe we could make a difference in the world, promote world, well-being throughout the world. And, you have a company called Sopro.
Yes, we do.
That, from my first glance, when I'm looking at it is something that, hey, is definitely promoting the health of the world overall. So I just want you, Greg, Blaze, you guys, whomever's going to speak first, tell me about Sopro.
Yeah. You want to take it? Okay.
Brother Blaze?
Okay. Yeah, I'll start off. No problem. Sopro is a residential solar company, right? We've been around for about 4 years. What we do is we consult homeowners on their best options moving forward in the solar realm, right? So the key thing about solar is, first and foremost, it's a qualification game, right?
Okay.
You'll hear a lot of companies spouting free solar, but that's not necessarily really the case, right? So what actually ends up happening, as long as your home qualifies, there's measures in place that actually pay for all the upfront costs for solar. But the reason we don't like the word free too much is because obviously nothing's for free, right?
Right.
So what ends up happening is it's more of like a bill swap, right? So we are a dealer for SunPower panels, right? The top panels in the industry. And what we end up doing is we end up signing people up for SunPower. SunPower takes care of the installation, manufacturing, all that stuff. Best part about it is they manufacture everything that comes with the panels as well.
Now I've heard about solar power,
Okay.
and there's, and you're seeing it more and more. Specifically tell me about that and how does it work? I mean, obviously I know it, the sunlight, it that's how it somehow powers the house, but how does that whole thing, how does that technology directly work?
Yeah, so pretty much what happens is when the solar system gets installed on your house, right? Like you said, obviously the sun hits it, it creates energy. But in a very simple term, what happens is like you said, it's a bill swap, right? So the panels become your power source. Instead of you getting your power from the utility company, you're going to get it from the solar company instead at a cheaper cost. There's different ways to do it. You can either buy the system, you can lease the system, you can do a power purchase agreement. So there's a bunch of different ways, but the biggest thing to understand is once you own the system, it's
Right.
your power. It's completely free. You never have to pay for any power from the utility company whatsoever, as long as that panel is producing at its normal efficiency and it's still working. And those panels are normally usually last anywhere from 30 to 40 years. Our panels usually up to 50 years.
Wow.
that they're good for. So I mean, essentially, like the average homeowner can live in their house for no utility bill whatsoever. And like I said, a bill swap, and for that time being, whatever the case is.
Right.
So let's say we come on board this year. For the next 20 years, you have a cheaper bill than you're currently paying. We're 25 or 10 or 15, whatever plan you end up choosing. But you have a cheaper bill than what you're paying, and you're saving, and you're going away from where the utility company is hitting you with the rate gouges.
Right.
Predictable changes.
Right,
things
right.
Of that nature.
So at least you know what your bill is going to be for the next 10, 15, 20, 25 years, whatever the case is. And then once that term is over, you have absolutely no bill.
Wow. So there's a way. So what it is that you're moving towards is the ownership of the technology itself, so that you're just self-sufficient.
Exactly. It's become your own power plant, essentially.
Wow. And the equipment itself is good for 50 years once it's put in.
Yep. Right up to 50 years. And then you got a 25-year bumper-to-bumper warranty with us. So if anything happens to your system, we take care of it. We make sure that you stay up and running. I mean, the biggest thing for people to understand is that we're in business to stay in business. So the better warranties that we have for our customers, and as long as we keep up with that, then that's going to get us more customers, obviously, right?
Right. Exactly.
And, bad news spreads 10 times as fast as good news, right? So you got to do 10 times as much good work.
And I've spoken about it time and time again, is that, no one is actively promoting positive news, good news, or even good experiences for that matter.
Look at 2020.
It doesn't sell, man. The scandalous, the controversial, that's what sells nowadays.
Craziness. So now, what is it that made you decide to get into this technology? Like, when was the first time that you heard about it, and when did you think that it was definitely something that that you should really explore and get into?
So for me, I got into the sales industry probably about 6 years ago, and I started off door knocking, and I would sell things like AT&T, Uverse, Frontier, third-party suppliers. Those guys who come knock on your door and get on your nerves, right? I was that guy, right? And the biggest thing for me was I kept getting approached by other solar companies that were saying, "Hey, you come on board over here. There's this big opportunity," and I kept turning it down, until one day I just kind of bit, right? And I was like, all right, let me see what it's like. And I went through a couple of other jobs after that, but after a while I was like, all right, you know what? Let me just go ahead and get into it. And I started working at a solar company, and the funny thing is Blaze here was working at a solar company at the same time, but it was a complete different company.
Oh, wow.
And we were living together.
So you guys were in the same business.
Like comparing paychecks. What did you get?
Wow.
Competing and stuff. It was good.
Yeah. So what ended up happening was we ended up going through a couple of different companies, and he actually left the industry. And then once we kind of figured out how everything worked, because our whole idea since growing up, I mean, we're best friends, cousins, brothers, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
It's always been, hey, we're going to have our own business. And when we realized, all right, this specific industry is actually a really good opportunity for us.
Checks all the boxes.
Yeah. And I mean, one of the biggest things is it's a fundamental change. So it's something that has to happen over the course of the next 30 years, 40 years. You're going to see more and more people go solar.
Right.
And to be at the beginning of that stage is imperative. To be able to say, hey, look, we actually helped start that. We're one of the reasons why we're not doing coal, things like that. And it's something we can tell our kids and be able to pass down to our kids. It's definitely a great opportunity.
Right. So tell me something now. So when someone gets the solar panels and I guess when they're let's say if they're leasing it, okay, um, is that power, because it's not like you're wired or anything like that, like how the regular power is. So it's like the power could be shut off, or if it's shut off, then you have like there's a way at the office, like they can remotely do things or send people out. How does that actually work? Like if there are like a service issue, is there a way that that you automatically know at the office, or do is it, or the people that have this power, are they completely independent to the office?
No. So what actually happens is each panel is microchipped, right? So they actually can monitor each panel independently 24 hours a day.
Wow.
So I always joke around with customers. So if anything were to happen with your panels, we actually know before you do. Unless like an asteroid were to hit your house or something, then you might know before we do. That's so yeah, they're monitored 24/7. Anything were to go wrong with it, as long as it's not the homeowner themselves getting up there trying to be Tim the Two-Man Taylor and
Right.
like make it more efficient, we take care of it.
So and the panels themselves are 100% like independent. So they're just, once they're set in place, they're there. I mean, is there any kind of thing like,
Pretty much.
They just do the job.
turning them off, or any
Better
kind
than forget it.
do?
Yeah. And now there's some like there's companies out there that will come by and clean your panels off.
Okay.
And I mean, you can have the regular power wash guy do it to clean the panels off. But it's not really something that's like, hey, you have to clean your panels off, because they kind of wash themselves off,
Right,
with rain and everything like
rain,
that.
yeah.
However, I mean, yeah, you'll get water spots and things like that. Like it's just like never washing your car windows, right? So you'll get some water spots, and if you want to have the guy rinse it off to make it look a little prettier, definitely. But it's not really gonna mess up your efficiency to the point where you're no longer saving money.
So tell me, what's the installation process like with those types of things? Like if someone wanted to move forward with that, like what is the process like, and how long does it actually take to put that up? And what's
That's a great question.
transition?
So from like a homeowner's perspective, right? We come to your home, we qualify the home. That generally takes about 1 to 2 meetings, depending on the home itself. And then what we do is we set up for a survey for a technician to come out and actually check your roof, your electric system, your meter, whether you have attic access, things of that nature, just to make sure the home is actually sturdy enough to hold panels, and your breaker can actually handle the power coming through the panels. Once he gives us a thumbs up, we actually submit for permits with the town. Once those permits come back, then we get an install date. So generally we're looking at around 45 to 60 days before install.
Okay.
But we've seen a lot faster than that. We've also seen slower than that as well.
So tell me, what are some of the benefits to switching to solar power? I know that one of the main benefits is that in the long run they'll pay less, but I mean, what other overall benefits can people?
Well, I wouldn't even say in the long run. I mean, we have people that save day one. So I actually just signed a contract with a lady last week, and she's saving $100 a month on her utility bill. Her bill is like
right off the rip.
Right off the rip, saving $100 a month. She had it now in her scenario. She has a great south facing roof, meaning she just gets a lot of sun. And so for her, and she didn't even use that much power. So a big misconception with a lot of people is that they say, well, my bill is really small. It's only $80. Well, that's actually one of our requirements, that your bill is a minimum of like $80. Now, does that mean if you have a $50 bill that we're not going to check you out? We're not going to try and help you? No. It just means that you might still have a $50 bill. Right. And so you might, at that point, it might take you a little bit of time to start seeing some savings because you already have a low bill.
Right. But the best part is it actually stays at $50.
Exactly.
It's not going to increase. You don't have to worry about what's my rate going to go up to next year, 2-3 years down the line. It's going to be $50 for the remainder of your term. And then you're not going to have a utility bill or a solar bill anymore.
Right. Yeah, because usually with most utilities or any kind of thing that you pay for, you can always expect just seasonal increases and so on and so forth. Whereas in this type of thing, I mean, you're just dealing with the sun, and the sun is just pretty consistent.
That's it. Well, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah, exactly.
More to worry about than our utility bills, right?
So I would imagine then you definitely need a house that's getting a fair amount of sunlight then. So
absolutely. Yeah. Right. And that's what we say not everyone can qualify for it, unfortunately, just because there are houses that do have too many trees. And those are the things that that's probably trees and shade is probably one of the only things that will say, hey, this house may never be able to go solar. And those are the houses structure too. Yeah, those are the houses that are like in the woods, or the structure. Maybe they have too many dormers all over the place, or
right.
So we've seen a couple of houses where they have dormers and then they have the vents and the windows, and it's just like there's nowhere to put a panel at. And I mean, we can, but it'd be a really ugly system. So we try not to do ugly systems. But I mean, by all means, if the customer says, hey, I don't care what it looks like, slap him on the side of my house.
Slap him on my porch if you can. Right?
But, so does the amount of sunlight affected the bill? Like so for instance,
absolutely.
You know, it's like in the summertime you have more sunlight, you know, as opposed to now. What about the people in Alaska? They have seasons where they're just dark. So, I mean, that might not work there.
I mean, it'll work really well for 6 months, and the other 6 months, it's like, then they're gonna
have to go hardwire again or start some fire.
I don't know much about Alaska and how they operate, but I do know here in Connecticut we have a net metering program, right? So what a net metering means is you get to store all of your power that you don't use with the utility company, and then when you need it, you draw back from it. So, for example, in the summertime, when we design the system, we set it up so you can produce more power than you're going to need, right? So you produce more power than you're going to need, and then you use it at the end of the year. So if we do that, if Alaska works the same type of way, and they're banking power for 6 months, they may still be good for the next 6 months.
Right. So elaborate. We try to cover 100% of the homeowner's power, right? And when you do that by looking at your utility bill, on your utility bill, it shows you, if you look on like the second page, it shows you month by month what your average usage is. We take those numbers and we put that into our portal, and it spits back a system size that we need to cover all your power, right? So that's what Greg was talking about. The summertime, you're going to overproduce, so it covers you year round, so you don't have to worry about going back to the utility company.
I see. But and also this is for the period of time as you're paying off the equipment, because you get to a point whereas then it's just on you then,
right?
And then there are no utility bills, and I think that's as people always talk about ownership, wanting to go towards ownership. I mean, and just like what you brothers are doing, with the business, doing for yourself instead of working for somebody else. We actually really support that around here, brother.
Definitely.
I'll definitely commend you on that. So, what it is we're going to do is we're going to bounce to a quick break. All right. And then when we come back, we're going to come back with more of Sopro, all right, energy with Greg and Blaze right here on WSME, baby. SM Enlightenment Radio. Don't go nowhere. Stick around, baby. Yeah, baby. WSME. SM Enlightenment Radio. Once again, good evening and welcome. It is the Sunday Night Spotlight. I am the great Doc P. And we're here with the fellas from Sopro. All right. Sopro Solar Energy. All right. Greg and Blaze Bowden in the house. And yes, they got the same last name, folks, because they are family. All right. This is a family enterprise here. Wow.
Yes,
And how long you fellas been in business with this?
So that's a trick question. There's a couple answers to that. So I mean, Sopro has existed for about about 3 years.
Okay.
Now Bolden Enterprise, which is the legal name, but we were still doing solar, so that's existed for about 4 years. So and then we just gave it a name about a year later, maybe a little less than that. But I mean, us doing business together,
20 years. Probably closer to like 15, but pretty much since we was kids.
All right, so see, because you're family, so
Right.
All right, so as kids, you guys were playing together, right? So I mean, you guys like the kids that was like hustling the basketball cards and all of that.
You can say that. You can say that
from the get go, right? From the start.
Yeah.
So in sales, of course, you hear a lot of no's.
Oh yeah.
You know? And
thank God.
It's you're dealing with energy in more ways than one. You know, you know, here you are trying to sell some energy, but then you got to deal with people's energy. You know, I wouldn't be true to my platform here if I didn't ask you, how do you stay positive?
I mean, we don't have a choice, honestly. Like if you don't stay positive, you're gonna lose your mind. I kid a little bit, but it's just remembering that every no is just leading to a yes, right? Not taking it personally, right? We have a guy at our office, Devin. He always says 95% of people are good people, genuinely, right? You have those 1% who are just having a bad day, or excuse me, you have those 4% who are just having a bad day, and then you have the 1% who needs medication. Right? So every so often you run into that 1%, you just got to remember, you know, no matter what you have no control over that.
Yeah. And I mean, we come from the door-to-door industry. So, I mean, we're talking like knocking on a door at 7 o'clock at night. Nobody wants to talk to you. What are you doing at my house? I'm having dinner with my family.
And the next thing you know, you're walking out with a clothes.
Right. The biggest thing is, like he was just saying, is just remember that there's a next coming, right? There's always going to be somebody.
Right.
And we don't really go out trying to, I guess the misconception for any type of sales whatsoever, and mainly our industry, is people go out and expect everybody to try and buy. And that's where the letdown comes. When you're trying to sell to everybody versus, hey, letting everybody know, but you're really only looking for 1 or 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And so if I speak to 50 people and 49 tell me no, I'm okay with that because I wasn't looking for them anyways.
Right. Yeah. And you know, I would think that you know, this in this day and time, people are more open, I think, to alternatives, you know, healthier alternatives, because I mean, in the bigger picture, I mean, we're saving the planet here with
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, and just cutting down on a lot of the you know, the bad pollution and stuff like that that's going on. And you know, one thing to also keep in mind is that the panels, you know, they're good for 50 years, and you know, that is a fantastic thing, you know. And it's just crazy. So let the folks know, like, what the whole process is of getting you know, solar energy. I know you said there's a couple of consultations, and then you know, and then how long could the whole process take?
Yeah, so the first step, I mean, we come by the house, we do a full assessment, we break everything down, we go over the usage that you currently have by looking at your utility bill. Once we go over your utility bill, we figure out exactly how much you use in an entire year, and then we design the system that should be able to cover that. Once we get that system set up for you, we either come back another day or we do that on the same day, depending on how long it takes. And then after that, if everything's good, we start to go ahead and get a survey done on your home where we check your electrical system, we check your internet connection, make sure that it's a healthy connection and everything's good there. We check the integrity of your roof, and we check to measure the amount of sun that you get on your house to make sure it's all accurate. That process, we're looking at about a week for all of that to take care of. Then we submit the permits to the utility company. After the utility company approves of everything, and then the Connecticut Green Bank, which funds the process. So it sounds like a lot, but we take care of all of this. Literally, the homeowner just sits and listens to us.
Hopefully offers us some food.
Yeah, so we do all of that. But the main process, we're talking about 6 to 8 weeks before you can have panels on your roof, and we get approval by the town and the utility company.
So at this time, the company is solely doing residential.
Yes, as of now.
As of now, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, if there's any businesses out there that would like to get solar put on their home, we can absolutely be able to help them out. I mean, not their home, their business. We can help them out, but it wouldn't come through us specifically. We would refer them to a partner company.
Do you see a shift in the awareness and these environmental type of things? Because I mean, I know naturally, years ago, just a couple of years ago, people were really thinking about less things, that had to do with the environment. When you even deal with the whole global warming debate, and how everything is so much deteriorating out here, and how we need to use more of our own natural resources. Do you see that the business is opening up more in Connecticut for that?
Yeah, and I mean, the tricky thing I should say is, like, I don't necessarily think it's a shift of awareness. I think it's more of a shift of action. Mm-hmm. I feel like when we look at the year that we're having right now, there's so many things that are happening, and I feel like for me, when I hear 2020, they always say 2020 is hindsight. I feel like all of us are just looking back on what we've done that has led us to this year. Wow. And I feel like what it is right now is so many people always heard of solar being good for the environment or any type of renewable energy, whatever the case is, and anything else in their life that they always felt was good. Right. But the biggest thing is we always say, I'll do it later. And now we're just like, all right, this needs to get done now. Like, so I think this is the time right now where people are deciding to not push things off.
Right. Yeah. Right, definitely.
Because, hey, I mean, we've seen all types of strange things happening within this last year. That last year was the furthest thing from our mind. And, hey, this is the only type of thing that you may have if the entire grid goes down, as they say. Like what Public Enemy talk about, what you're going to do when the grid goes down, like, and there's no more electricity, what you going to do?
Right.
Exactly. But if you own your own panels, at least you have access to being able to convert that, natural sunlight into something. So it makes you a lot more self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about the structure of the company. So, you guys are based in Southington?
Yeah. Correct.
Okay. And, how big of a company?
So we got about 10 people right now, 8 reps and us 2. Devin, we have a DM by the name of Devin. Yeah, district manager, sorry. Nice. By the name of Devin. He pretty much runs a lot of day-to-day operations with the team and the reps. I assist him in that endeavor as well. And then Greg runs all the back end stuff pretty much.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Well, I mean, hey, I already see that you're going to be growing big.
Yeah. I mean, we run the entire state of Connecticut right now. We're looking to have about 3 to 5 other offices across the state. in the next couple years.
Right.
And then from there, I mean, we want to go, or we're going to go to Jersey, Massachusetts, New York, Island, and further on. We're actually we're in talks of a Florida office as we speak right now.
Wow.
So we should be seeing some things happen over there.
I mean, you know, that is absolutely fantastic, man. I mean, that's, you know, it's solar power. You know, it's you know, it's the perfect industry, I think, because and I know as salespeople, you've had other things that you've sold in the past.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some things, and I know me too, because I come from that same type of sales background, you know, over the phone, you know, everything from appointment setting to, like, you know, the telemarketing and calling, you know, folks. There's always my summer jobs, you know, from school, you know, always you know, a telephone job. And then later on in life, I ended up actually working in more sales capacities. And, you know, there's a lot of crap out there that you can sell people that they really don't need.
You can sell anything.
I'm telling people I could be selling cable. I could be selling vacuums, knives.
Yeah.
I do solar because it actually helps people. It benefits not just myself, not just the homeowner,
right,
but the entire world. Every system we sell is cutting down carbon emissions by such a huge amount. And it just has a ripple effect, right? The more systems we installed, the better our tomorrow is.
Right, because really what it is that, you know, I mean, this is, you know, and the point that I was, you know, making was just that, you know, there's so much crap out there that you could sell, but I mean, this is something, I mean, you're selling life to people, you know, in the bigger picture.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is life, a longer life, a cleaner life.
Absolutely.
You know, because, you know, this is the first real move towards getting the air cleaner out here, you know, and it's something else. So how many other minority owned businesses that you know of that are, you know, in the whole power business, the solar power?
We're the first and only in Connecticut.
Yeah, we know of one in Massachusetts.
Yeah,
one in Massachusetts.
Well, they're not based out of. They have an office in Mass.
Okay.
So we know of probably 2, maybe 3 total Black-owned solar companies.
So, hey, you guys are the pioneers here.
Yes,
you know, and you know, I just have to tell you, you know, we're super proud of you, and you know, I want you to let the folks know where it is that they can contact you, you know, for information on this.
So they can do a couple of things. They can go to our website at soprousa.com. That's SOPROUSA.com. They can also give us a call on our office line. That's 860-414-0100. And they can shoot us a text at 860-799-1349. So any of those ways are good. Text is usually very easy because it comes right to our line. We have a group line that it goes to. So any one of us, the professionals, can answer the call.
Greg and Blaze Bowden, Sopro, man. Right. You know, I'm really happy that you blessed us tonight with a Sunday night.
Appreciate you having us.
Oh man, absolutely.
Blessing both ways.
Yeah, and you know, I'm telling you, folks, this is not the last that you're gonna hear from Sopro, all right? Because you know, I'm gonna make sure that, you know, we keep them around a little bit. I want you guys to record some drops. You know what I'm saying? Just saying, hey, it's SM Enlightenment Radio, and you know, you can stream us in your office over there. You know, we're hey, you know, we're working. Yeah. You know, you ain't gonna hear no nasty, funky music that you'd be embarrassed about at work. You know,
we got you. We'll play it. James gonna let you know too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And big shout out goes out to Grandmaster Jay, actually, who's also partnering up with you and getting some of his talents out there, and that's a great thing. So you have sales folks that go out into the field and
Yep.
speak to people like a
Yeah.
sales team.
We have a few different ways that people can hear us yelling at them.
Well, I mean, I think as it's getting out there, people are coming around.
Yes, absolutely.
And,
I mean, I gotta say, this year more than ever, I mean, our industry is booming, and I mean, we're in contact with our competition. Mainly, what I mean by that is throughout the entire country. We have a networking group where we all kind of talk about what's going on in the industry, just so we're all privy to what's happening. And I mean, we all do good. We make a decent dollar doing our jobs, but at the same time, there's a bigger picture in it for all of us, and that is helping the environment. So with us all being able to connect and help each other to be able to maintain and find new ways, so on and so forth. So what we've been seeing is the industry has actually been going really high in sales and customers deciding to switch over because of the simple fact that, one, everyone's home right now.
Yeah.
Everyone's
light bills going through the roof.
They're using so much power. Two, I mean, in Connecticut, we had one of our main utility companies, Eversource, increased their rates by 19% a couple months ago. And everyone was furious. Our phones were ringing off of the hook. And I mean, we were getting calls from people that we spoke to 2 years ago that said, I'll wait until later. So,
wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, and like we said before, 2020 hindsight, this is really the year where a lot of people are just noticing what we've been telling them is going to happen and what has been coming. And they're like, you know what? Yeah, let me at least take a listen. Let me at least see what this can do for my house.
Because you can easily see how, and this the nasty conditions that we were dealt here in 2020. With this pandemic thing going on. I mean, it really it just demolished the whole economy. And when the economy was going down, then of course you're gonna feel that in utility services, and the economy goes, bad, then all service charges, everything is more expensive, because all of a sudden there are less resources and you're depending on, all of those moving parts to serve you, but when the whole system is broken down, then you're just going to end up paying more. But, when you have your own power, wow.
Yep.
Be a pandemic.
One of my customers that I ever got to go solar called and said, I'm mad about the increase. They were, if anything, I got people like, oh man, I'm so happy I went solar.
Right.
Wow. Well, hey, once again, I want to thank you so much for blessing the program. And we're going to be posting all of your information, and I want you to stick around after the show, fellas, and we're going to get some production done. All right. Hey, this has been the Sunday Night Spotlight right here, WSME SM Enlightenment Radio, with Greg and Blaze Bowden from Sopro. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. And hey, have a great night. Anybody you want to send out a shout out to on the way out?
Hey, shout out to James Law. You said DJ Grandmaster J. Grandmaster
J. Yes, sir.
One of our reps. He's a hard worker, man. He's gonna do big things.
Yeah. He'll probably be meeting you at your house.
There you go. Hey, you know what I'm saying? And I'm up here in Rhode Island, so the minute that you guys come on out to Rhode Island, Okay.
Hey, that's one of our next stops.
Hey, we're neighbors, brother. Make sure that you check them out. All right. Sopro right here on WSME SM Enlightenment Radio.